We have seen progress in Tulsa Public Schools. I also want to be very clear. Superintendent Johnson and Tulsa Public Schools is doing exactly what we have asked of them, what the parents of Tulsa have asked of them, of being incredibly transparent by bringing data to every board meeting, being very clear, and you heard her, and she says it all the time. She says it to us, she says it to her board, she says it to her staff. I can give you many examples of this. Expectations are high here. And she's very clear publicly if there has been growth, but you know what, we want to see more growth. And I frankly was not pleased to see how the media portrayed this data after their last board meeting to imply that Tulsa is not seeing progress from their students, from the data sets. We've got a superintendent that's being crystal clear, high expectations. And this is like, I'm sorry, Dr. Johnson has to hear the sports analogies for me, but she gives them back to me too, so I'm gonna use one here. So you won a basketball game by 15 points. You know what, the coach might say, I wish we would have won by over 20. Wish we would have closed them out and won it by bigger. They are seeing growth, but I am not gonna sit back and listen to folks bash Tulsa Public Schools for doing aggressive change, aggressive reform, seeing improvement, and being very open and honest with the people of Tulsa, with the state of Oklahoma, to say, listen, we're seeing growth, but you know what, we want to see more. The headline should be, we're seeing real leadership in Tulsa. We're seeing a team that is aggressively taking on challenges, and they're going to continue to do that. And I want to point this out because just as they pointed out about discipline is the same thing. Every conversation we've had with them about academics, they expressed it again today. They are not trying to get a high test score next month to then come in and tell everybody we got a high test score next month and then go back to do something else. It is a long-term strategy. And I want to point out, her team did a great job of explaining this, but I want to give you even a little more credit than you gave yourself on this. This resetting the entire district to do these formative assessments where we can now know, and if you guys remember, she's been very gracious about this, but when we came in and pushed her for data, she also told us, no excuses, but I'm trying the best I can. I can't get it as easily as I would like to. So she has been on top of that ever since those conversations started last fall. Now the entire district will be on these formative assessments where, again, not only us, parents, the city of Tulsa, the state of Oklahoma can see in real time how our kids performing in relation to the standards. When we talk to them next year and say, how are the third graders doing? What's the expectation? The clarity that they will be able to provide for us, parents, et cetera, will be tremendously improved. And I want to point these things out. These have been conversations we've had with Tulsa for a year now, and they have made very aggressive maneuvers to implement these changes. These are not, it takes longer than a week, takes longer than a month, takes longer than a few months. And we have seen them execute on these things in a real way that is going to be incredibly beneficial. So again, I want to say, keep up the good work. I appreciate the commitment to long-term success. And again, I completely understand that doesn't happen overnight. But folks, we are monitoring and tracking what's going on in Tulsa along with her team. As she said, our team was with them yesterday, to make sure that if there is an issue, we're going to bring it to the board. We're going to talk about it very publicly and correct it. But all indicators we are seeing are very positive. Her clarity on expectations, her no excuse attitude, you're seeing it in test scores. And frankly, I'm going to go ahead and attribute that to discipline. You know what? When you come in and leadership is very clear that these are the expectations and this is what we expect of ourselves and you know what? Kids see that. It's reflective in the district. I'll just kind of finish on this. I wanted to say this as well. Superintendent Johnson is keynoting our summer program for all the administrators and teachers in the state at Inspire. Appreciate her willingness to do that. She's going to be talking a lot about these efforts that she's undertaken in the district. So I do appreciate you taking the time to do that. Superintendent Johnson, I think it will be great for districts around the state to hear some more detail. And again, we get a snapshot of it. There's times where, and again, more than happy to include you all in this, but some of the team calls or visits where these conversations are extrapolated over multiple hours where we're really digging into data and things like that. But she's going to be able to share that with administrators across the state and teachers. So thank you, Superintendent Johnson, for that. And I appreciate you guys being here today.
Thank you, and thank you for that invite, and thank you all for your time this morning. Thank you.
Okay, I know I like to jibber jab, so I'm going to just real quickly. Thank you for those remarks, Superintendent Walters. Very truly, I think for this board and to hear from you and Superintendent Dr. Johnson, I mean, you know, what we've been able to see as a board and be helpful as we can, but to see these two leaders of a challenging district and a statewide leader who, in all of the controversy that we saw at the beginning, to hear you two compliment each other, to reflect how you're working together for the benefit of the kids, that's the bottom line. And to, it's not just, it's not just lip service. It's real action happening behind the scenes. And you two leaders, I just got to say, Oklahoma should be proud of you both. Thank you for doing what you're doing for these kids. And I'm excited about the great things to come. So thank you to you both.
Thank you, Mr. Burdick. Thank you, Superintendent Walters, and thank you, board.
Thank you. Thank you for that.